It is now time for You Think You Know Me with the Godfather here on YouTube. Here's your host, the Godfather. Alright, February 1st, 2017, episode number 2. This time it's gonna be no nonsense. Alright, first things first, in case if you have not realized what this show is about, it is basically a talk show where I talk about a lot of things except for politics. As always, I'm going to have to say this every week, it seems. You will never hear me talk about the Donald. You'll never hear me talk about financial aids, refugees, immigration, none of that stuff, because the purpose of this show is to talk about stuff that I care for. When it comes to that, not that I care about the other stuff, but the stuff that I care for, stuff that gets you away from the controversy, the drama, and the debates, and the triggering moments that has defined America the last couple of weeks, months, even years. So, aside from that, I pretty much talk about a lot of stuff. We have a lot to talk about. I'm hoping to aim that in less than an hour. We have the Rolex 24, the Royal Rumble, music, and a little bit of word of thought that I will bring to you. So without further ado, let's get going with some channel updates first and foremost. It has come to my mind that some people, not a lot, very few people, two people in particular, has sent me requests as far as my other videos that I do. If you haven't checked out my videos, do so if you insist, but the main theme is that I do commentary on racing video games, mostly on great finishes, or that's been pretty much my forte now, wrecks. There's two in particular that I wanted to address real quick. The first one was Katharina Rimpels saying that I should do another top 10 Auto Rock and Racing 94 crashes with modern paint schemes. Here's the thing about requests. I don't mind doing it. It's quite flattering that some people would like me to do sequels or spin-offs. Here's the thing. With the modern paint schemes, I would assume the Gen 6, the current body. I don't mind doing that. I can make a Gen 6 car real quick. The thing is, sometimes I want to take the time, the effort, and the commitment to make a video possible. And because with a top 10 video, I basically did it as a parody of NASCAR Nixon's top 10 videos. The fact somebody wants me to do another one is quite interesting. I don't mind doing it. I'm willing to do that. And pretty much the thing is, all the videos that I do is right here on my personal laptop that I got from 2013. Still works fine. The video editing and the rendering process is a pain in the ass, of course. It takes like 9 to 10 hours to render a 1 hour video. Yeah. It's always been that way. Now, when I got it, it was acted that way, which is ridiculous and that's a little ludicrous. Say if I did it on a Mac or somewhere on another computer at the University of Idaho when I went there, it goes real quick. It will actually last the duration, or maybe even less. And the fact that I probably had to do it in a Gen 6 body, there's no problem. Problem is, the frame rate will be horribly atrocious. I play NR on an older laptop, so I don't have to do the DEP stuff, because I don't want to risk the computer from getting viruses and all that stuff. It's not worth the risk, so I do it on a different laptop, and it works like a champ. Some of them. 2001 cars doesn't work too well. There's the Cup Trucks and Bush Series mods from NR. They do work. They work just fine. So, hopefully I can take the time and effort to do that. And then the big one that used to be my forte in my earlier years was the Dirt to Daytona commentaries, which a fellow subscriber named Tom Todd. First and foremost, I appreciate the compliments. I do appreciate it, quite honestly. I do. He says that I should probably do another Dirt to Daytona. Honestly, I don't mind doing it. But the same thing goes to the NR one. I want to take the time and commitment, and then honestly, it takes me playing the game, and then raise some hell, or even if I want to just not act like I want to be competitive, so I just decided to wreck the whole field if I want to. It takes me to come up with something clever. It's got to be a unique wreck. It just cannot be like a gameplay. When I used to do Dirt to Daytona videos, there weren't hardly any Dirt to Daytona videos at all. There weren't. Nowadays, we have Dirt to Daytona up the ass, left and right, which is quite flattering. I like to say I was one of the first YouTubers to actually put Dirt to Daytona content frequently. I'll always hold that in high regard. But yeah, I don't mind doing it. I just have to whip up the PS2, connect it on a newer TV, and then bam, magic will happen. Alright, that is my channel update. And also, as far as the story of Marlboro Jenkins is concerned, it will come soon. I don't know when, but it will come soon. But it's something that I want to take some time and effort to make that series last a good period amount of time. I don't want to do it real quick. I don't want to rush it. I want to take some time. I have a good concept of what my pilot's going to be, but for the rest of the episodes, I need to put time and effort. It takes time. I'm not one of those YouTubers that does stuff every single day. I want to take time to do it. That's why with this program, it's every Wednesday, so I have to put the time. It takes a lot of work for make that graphics happen. I made a little touch on the graphics. Instead of orange from the pilot, I decided to put it in gold to better resemble that I was an Idaho alumni. Alright, that is my channel update. And also, in case if you're wondering what I used to do, here's a little clip to tell you what I used to do on YouTube.
Here we go, 20 laps to go in the Michigan 400 as Sterling Marlin and Robbie Gordon are in the front row. Sterling Marlin has jumped the restart. Marlin has jumped the restart and Robbie Gordon is not going to be happy about it. Here they come, down in turn number 1. Robbie Gordon is not happy that Sterling Marlin has jumped the restart. He made contact. Jeff Gordon is getting loose down in turn number 1, but Gordon and Marlin are going to fight it out of the lead. Robbie Gordon pushes to the outside. He goes to the inside. Now he's going to try to do whatever it takes to go by Sterling Marlin. Marlin to the outside. He goes to the apron. Robbie Gordon's going to take the lead. Robbie Gordon is going to be the 29th leader of the afternoon. He's going well up high. He may hit the wall. He hit the wall. Gordon, Marlin, 19 laps to go. Big time trouble. Robbie Gordon's upside down. Gordon up in the air. Big time collision. That's the big one has happened. Here at the Michigan 400. Spray Portier, Marlin, Franchitti, Tracy, Wallace, Hanson is in the... Oh! Big... Oh! This is going to be a long time. The red flag is out here in Michigan. Hope everybody's okay.
Yeah, my voice definitely has changed. I sound a little bit goofy, I sound a little corny. My Dave Moody impression was not that good. Nice save by Jeff Gordon. I was Robbie Gordon, by the way. I'd qualify that thing to pole. Yes, I had IndyCar drivers in this race to replace the pretty much. I do not know the fictional drivers' names other than Owen Justice in the 131, which I call him Stedman Marlin for whatever reason, probably because of the number font. It reminded me of Stedman. Yeah, that's a little pub question. What's Sterling Marlin's son's name? Who drove in the Busch Series? Stedman Marlin. Alright, let's get down to the nitty gritty. The Rolex 24 at Daytona, the great one, Jeff Gordon. Even though he didn't drive too much in the Rolex 24, or so I think, because obviously when you have the race on Fox Sports 2 and then you block it here in America when it comes to the IMSA website, you have to rely on IMSA radio to get all the news and information, which I ended up doing. But yeah, Jeff Gordon, Max Angelelli, Ricky and Jordan Taylor, part of the Wayne Taylor Racing Team, won the Rolex 24 at Daytona. It is Angelelli's swan song. Gordon becomes the fourth driver in history to win both the Rolex 24 and the Daytona 500. And the Taylor brothers have joined his father Wayne as the Daytona Classic winners. However, while they conquered the rain, they conquered cold tires, and all the drama that comes with the 24 hours of Daytona, there was a little bit of controversy, however, and many people died. That was the two decisions that decided to not penalize. One was Jeff Gordon when he actually entered the car after Scott Pruitt, who was one of the favorites to win his own class, got wrecked earlier. He wrecked, and then there was a joke on Twitter to say that Scott Pruitt purposely wrecked to see Jeff Gordon drive. I know there's a joke, but it's like, come on, man, Pruitt wrecked. Pruitt is a Daytona legend when it comes to sports car, along with the likes of Hurley Haywood, to name a few. Yeah, when Gordon was on the track, Jeff Gordon is what he's recently known for NASCAR. Pull a Jeff Gordon restart, and then when he got on into the infield, the cold tires took an effect and accidentally collided with the 70 car of Tom Long from the Mazda prototype. Ultimately, the Mazda car finished 46 overall. He did not complete the Rolex 24. Only completed 462 laps. It was unfortunate because, like, oh, come on, Jeff Gordon's already going to cause havoc. I know he's not driven a 24-hour race in 10 years. I understand that. But when you look at the footage, dude, Tom Long exited out of the pit road at what you can say at an absolute worst time. He got penalized for running over the red light of the pit road. Came in at an absolutely worst time. And then Gordon, his cold tires just got pretty much collided, and there's nothing else that he could have done. And then in the final closing minutes of the Rolex 24, it came down. It was a two-man battle between Wayne Taylor Racing and the Mustang Sampler Racing, which consisted the number 5, which consisted of Juan Barbosa, Christian Fittipaldi, and Felipe Albuquerque. Albuquerque was in front, and then in the final few minutes, there was contact that resulted in the 5 car from spinning, ultimately knocking him out of any chance of winning the Rolex 24. However, the margin of victory tells you different. It was less than a second. It shows you the 5 car can catch up easily. The controversy was, did the 10 car intentionally wreck the 5? Was it considered avoidable contact? It could have been. But if you look at the footage very closely, the 5 car went down just a little bit and the 10 stayed in his own lane. It's a quite interesting debate, and as a result, IMSA called it no penalty. Some people were not too pleased about it. I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to say this race was clean, nothing controversial, and I can safely say Jeff Gordon is one of the elite drivers at Daytona. As far as elite at Daytona, I say Dale Earnhardt, Cale Yarborough, Hurley Haywood, even Tony Stewart. But Stewart was so close to winning the 500, so close of winning a Rolex 24 in 2004, but did not happen. Anyways, Jeff Gordon joins AJ Foyt, Mario Andretti, and Jamie McMurray as the only drivers to win both the Rolex 24 and the Daytona 500. As a matter of fact, all 4 of them won at Indianapolis. Foyt and Andretti won the Indy 500. McMurray and Gordon won the Brickyard 400. That is an interesting elite group, and it shows that Jamie McMurray, when it comes to the big pain races, he knows when to deliver. Jeff Gordon is joined an elite group. There's something that he can say that Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt couldn't. Obviously, let's be fair, Earnhardt only drove 1 Rolex 24. I would imagine he would have driven more than 1 Rolex 24 had he been alive. The question is, will he run Le Mans? Would I be happy if he ran Le Mans? I would. The question is, I believe that's during when the Cub Boys run in Michigan, so that could be a problem in the near future. So we'll see. I'm open to see Gordon run more sports car races. I wouldn't mind that at all. It's good to see Jeff Gordon do something accomplished worthy, especially while transpire later in the night in a different sport, which I'll discuss in a moment. Michael Waltrip has announced this will be it. This will be his 30th and final Daytona 500. He'll be driving the number 15 Toyota, the Aaron's Dream Machine, one last time. It's hard to think that Michael Waltrip will be the last 80s debuted driver. As in, the driver who made their Cup debut in the 1980s. He's the last one. That's it. He's the last one. He made his debut in the 1985, then known as Coca-Cola World 600. That's when Coca-Cola was, I believe it was the first year that Coca-Cola sponsored the 600 miler. It was then known as the World 600. A little tidbit of information. Michael Waltrip has been loved by many, and some NASCAR fans despise Michael Waltrip, mostly on commentary and also controversy of the 2007 Daytona 500 with the jet fuel. There's been a lot of drama in the last decade for Mikey, for sure. Well, the last 17 years when you really think about it. Michael Waltrip was a strong restrictor plate driver. He won the Daytona 500 twice, 2001 and 2003. One was tragedy, one was rain shorted. But when it comes to restrictor plates in the early 2000s, nobody can stop DEI. Nobody. It was Junior and Mikey, left and right. You're guaranteed is one of those two is going to win. As a matter of fact, from 2001 to 2003, Ward Burton, Greg Biffle, and Bobby Hamilton were the only guys to have won a restrictor plate track not named Mikey and Dale Jr. I bet I miss Mikey on the track. He had a great chance of winning a Talladega 2012 before the big one happened that ultimately sent Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the sidelines for a couple races and put Regan Smith in the 88 because of the multiple concussions that he had throughout his career. Will Mikey have a shot at winning it? I don't know. I don't really think so. But it'll be great to see Mikey winning in this final race. I don't see him winning the pole, though. Like the last couple of years of the Daytona 500 could prove you may have a shot. I still think it's going to be Dale Jr., Clint Boyer, and I might as well say Daniel Suarez now. I'm going to say Daniel Suarez has a good shot at winning the Daytona 500 pole. Look at the last few. Look at that. 2013, Danica Patrick. 2014, Austin Dillon. 2015, Jeff Gordon. 2016, Chase Elliott. 13, female. 14, the return of the 3. 15, Gordon's last 500. Elliott, first race without going into 24. I want to talk about the 2003 Daytona 500 moment. Why is it so significant? It was because it was the first NASCAR race I ever watched all the way through. I could have swore I watched post-race coverage of the 2002 EA Sports 500, and I watched the closing laps of the 2003 Coolers 300, which is now on YouTube from start to finish. It was the Busch Series race. And let me tell you, Jimmy Vasser, I just feel like that record Daytona Jimmy Vasser had was the end of his career. I know he drove a couple, very few afterwards, but I think that rack ultimately ended his driving career, basically. And the same thing can be said about Jeff Purvis, even though he did make one more start at NASCAR in 04. It was an interesting race. I may want to talk about the 2003 Daytona 500 in another video, and as far as the first race I ever watched. You had Ryan Newman with that incredible tumble. It ripped the whole rear handle off, and I remember the following day I grabbed, I think it was a San Jose newspaper. I used to live in San Jose, California for several years. I picked up a copy of the newspaper and it showed Newman's car disintegrated. It's like, wow, what a way to introduce me as a NASCAR fan, to have a wicked wreck like Ryan Newman. But Michael Waltrip ultimately won the Daytona 500 in an incredible battle between Kurt Busch, and Jimmy Johnson. Before he became Super Jimmy Johnson actually was a contender to win the Daytona 500. So yeah, it was an interesting race, and obviously, ever since it, I got hooked. The disappointing news that I have for you, in my eye, is Phoenix International, Phoenix Raceway. Phoenix Raceway. Why did I start it as Phoenix Racing? I don't know, because I saw it James Finch, and when I was Googling the picture that you're seeing right now, I had to look through left and right to find it right away. As you see, look at that. Look, they have a big ass gap. Look at the gap between pit road and start finish. You're saying that you're gonna have the medical trucks all over this area, and pit road's like 80 yards. Why? I understand the fan experience. They're trying to make it like Daytona. As you can see, start-finish line is now what is currently turn number 1. It's like what they did with Atlanta and Darlington. They flip-flop the start-finish line nearly on the opposite lane of the track. It doesn't look like Phoenix is going to change terribly much as far as the layout of the track. So it's going to feel the same, but I'm just disappointed that they had to fuck, essentially, Phoenix. Phoenix is one of those traditional old school tracks that's been around much longer than the 80s. It's been there for over half a century, basically. It's been there since the 70s when USAC and Carr ran there, way before NASCAR came along. It was part of the Skull Classic. The good old red and white walls, the Goodyear Bridge, the sun painted on the walls when they went to basically the baby blue colors that we see today. And now the start finish is going to be relocated nearly in what is turn number 2. I don't mind that. The grandstands is going to be moved completely. I just, the way it's executed and visually, it just looks too open, way too open. I don't know why they have the safety tracks. I'm guessing to try to get them immediately so they can, I don't know. I am really torn considering the history the Phoenix has had over the years. The very first Camping World Truck Series race was at Phoenix. It's one of the only tracks that's been there since day one as far as the Camping World Truck Series calendar is concerned. I'm just disappointed. I really am. It's going to be a cool experience. I can imagine it will be very fan-friendly. That's for sure. But I'm not too crazy when they completely change the racetrack. Racetracks in particular, I don't mind certain rule changes. But when it comes to racetrack, it's got to be reasonable. Darlington, you just put the start-finish line in another lane. That I understand. Atlanta, they obviously put the dog leg that made it at the start-finish line in the back. What it used to be the start-finish line is now the backstretch. And to think that Atlanta, the only grandstands left is just the dog leg area. Let me know what you think about the Phoenix idea. I understand the fan experience, but as far as the layout, as far as relocating the start-finish, and then that big gap for medical trucks, which I don't know if they need that many safety trucks, to be brutally honest. It's just, I don't know. Well, the shits, the disaster, the fiasco that has been known as the Royal Rumble, as I like to call it, the Royal Disaster 4. Did it happen? Oh, yes it did. Not so much about the Royal Rumble match, and nothing to do with it, to be brutally honest, thinking back on it. I had a couple of days to reflect on it. I said, the Rumble match is whatever. It really was. Compared to the last couple ones, it was whatever. And I will safely say it's the 2009 Royal Rumble on repeat. There were really no surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble besides Ty Dillinger at number 10 because his gimmick is the number 10. That spoiled it big time. It wasn't really a surprise entrant any at all. Obviously, I had wrestlers that I was invested on. That was Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and The Undertaker, in anticipation of Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle to be in the Rumble. Obviously, you had your humor, or you want to say quote-unquote humor. I didn't find humor in it, except for one. You had your Jack Gallagher's, your Mojo Rawleys, your James Ellsworth. The only funny thing about James Ellsworth is how he got eliminated like that, 15 seconds. Because I was saying, James Ellsworth, my mind is like, somebody throw him through the crowd. It's Spike Dudley style. And that's why I saw when Enzo Amore came on to confront Brock Lesnar. Well, face-to-face Brock Lesnar. Those two were. That's what I was thinking. Brock, throw him to the crowd, Spike Dudley style. Nope. But Enzo got eliminated in 18 seconds. So, yeah. And, oh, by the way, Enzo was the number 27. So I was disappointed. There was not really surprise entrance. I was disappointed that Roman Reigns was number 30. I was like, oh, great, here we go again. Roman Reigns gonna win. And then the way it was executed, it was just not well done. Except for a couple of things. Undertaker, Bill Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar, you build them up to be, oh yeah, and Braun Strowman, who had 7 eliminations more than anybody else. He basically, the first 7 out of the first 8 eliminations were Strowman's. Here are the people, here are the wrestlers that Strowman eliminated. Before you hear what happened. Here they are. Braun Strowman eliminated the following. Number 1 entrant, Big Cass, Kalisto, Mojo Rawley, Mark Henry, Big Show, Ty Dillinger, James Ellsworth. No Shaq. I was hoping if they're going to build Shaq and Big Show for WrestleMania 33, that would have been a great start to intensify that feud. I know they've been doing it off air and everything. I understand. It's basically going to happen either way. But it would have been a nice touch to have Shaq in the Rumble. He would have been a much better choice than Drew Carey in 01. It honestly would have been. To this day, Drew Carey is the worst WWE Hall of Fame inductee of all time. One appearance, boom, that's it, you're in the Hall of Fame. While you have Cyndi Lauper, Muhammad Ali, Shaquille O'Neal as well. Shaq has been involved more than just WrestleMania 32 and what soon to be WrestleMania 30. He was even involved at WCW. Anyways, back to the Royal Rumble match. Undertaker lasted 8 minutes. Bill Goldberg lasted 3 minutes. Brock Lesnar 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They were in and out. Brock Lesnar got humiliated by Goldberg again. Speaking of Goldberg and Lesnar, I hated the finish of the Survivor Series. I did. It was raw emotion at the time, heat of the moment, because I wanted Brock to win. And then when I heard that it was Brock's idea to have that a squash match from Bill Goldberg, and then I thought of the MMA aspect again. Same with the Orton and Lesnar match, which people bitched and moaned about how they stop it. It's like, I loved the Orton and Lesnar thing. It was legitimacy. It was a little bit of legitimacy involved. I didn't saw it about it straight at the Survivor Series. I thought, well, in real life fighting, fight something lasts less than a minute, or even barely a minute, or over a minute. And I thought, okay, that was not that bad. It was Brock's idea. It's like, oh shit. I see why. It makes sense. And the way they're portraying Brock Lesnar as the vulnerable underdog when he is the heel and Goldberg is the face, it's going to be an interesting WrestleMania. Sadly, I will probably not watch WrestleMania 33. Nothing to do with the Rumble match. It would have to do with one outcome that would have made or break the Royal Rumble for me and many other people. People complaining about worst Royal Rumble ever. No surprise entrance. Brock Lesnar looked like a bitch again. Undertaker didn't win. Roman Reigns over Samoa Joe. Fuck you, Vince. Anyways, excuse my language. Obviously, it's a little bit more looser than I did my radio show. Try to keep it clean every now and then, but when it comes to something that I'm passionate or I had the passion for back in a while ago, and then it gets ruined, I will complain about it, and I will say how I feel, whether people like it or not. Anyways, here's the winner, Randy Orton. He only eliminated one person that really mattered, Roman Reigns. So yeah, Randy Orton from SmackDown, who I did not thought was going to be a contender, who I said SmackDown was not even going to be a factor in this because you had the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view to kind of carry the momentum going forward. Oh no, by the way, here are the final four. Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, and Chris Jericho. My final four were Braun Strowman, Undertaker, Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar. Goldberg was the 23rd person eliminated. Brock Lesnar was the 19th. Undertaker 26th. Braun Strowman, the 9th. The 9th elimination. And I thought, and then Braun Strowman cost Roman Reigns the Universal title, retained by Kevin Owens. The continuity, it was not there. You would think Braun Strowman would be there at the end. Roman Reigns comes in, and then brutally attacks Braun Strowman, and then there you go, Strowman versus Reigns. No, we didn't get that. It was not explained. I'm telling you, WWE writing is not good. Here is the problem. Randy Orton won. The winner of the WWE Championship match is not AJ Styles. It's who else? John Cena. So think of it this way. John Cena versus Randy Orton, WrestleMania 33. Let's do it again. 455. I don't want to do it one more time. It's 2009. Because fuck you fans. I'm going to exploit people. I don't put indie wrestlers over because fuck indie wrestling. Anyways, yes, John Cena. 13th WWE Championship. 13th WWE Championship. Here's the problem. John Cena won the championship over a legend in professional wrestling, a better worker named AJ Styles, and people have the metadata gall to say Styles versus Cena Royal Rumble was better than Okada versus Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Okada Omega was wrestling. Cena versus Style was ruined by the outcome. Go watch the match. John Cena botched multiple moves, made AJ Styles look like shit at times. It really was not a good match. Didn't look clean. The fact that he doubled AJ Styles twice to get the 3 count in less than 10 seconds was humiliating, embarrassing, and a total disgrace to the wrestling world and wrestling fans alike. No, I am not a John Cena fan for those reasons. He doesn't sell that great. He takes ass bumps. He's just not a crisp worker. He's not. When you look at the roster, you have Brock Lesnar, better seller, knows how to sell. You have AJ Styles, one of the best wrestlers in the last 17 years in the world. He's won an IWGP title. You have Kurt Angle, Lashley, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Kenta. You have so many wrestlers all over the freaking world that I would put over Cena. Go watch 3 matches. Just 3 matches of them and prove me that he's better. He's not better than Cena. Those that I mentioned. Bobby Roode even. Nakamura. Okada. Ricochet. Even Neville. Thank goodness he won the Cruiserweight title. Cena is not good. He's not. Go watch the match. I don't give a shit if it's about the drama. I really don't care. Cena, you heard Ryback, the big guy, dumb as fuck in the ring, but he spoke the truth. Even Batista. More and more I see Cena getting all this glorifying shit, the more and more I appreciate Dave Batista. Batista is bigger than Cena when it comes to movies. We'll never see Cena do a Bond movie. You'll never see him do a major motion picture that will be critically acclaimed or a strong franchise. You won't. Thank goodness he's not going to be in Thor. From what I heard, he was considered to be in the movie Thor. Thank God he's not in the movie Thor. Not big in the comic books or the comic movies per se, because I don't really have the time or dedication to do it. But John Cena is garbage. Speaking of garbage, he is garbage material. Seal of approval by the Godfather. In the words of Bruce Blitz, fuck John Cena, he's garbage. And now he's a quote-unquote 16-time champion. I beg to differ. And here is the irrelevant fact of the week. Look at this. Look at this corny but beautifully graphic world titles at a glance. John Cena has 13 WWE championships. Ric Flair has 2 WWF titles. World Heavyweight Championship. Cena has 3. Ric Flair has 7. And then when you add the NWA Championship, he has 9. If you don't include the 3 from Mid-Atlantic and Missouri, then it would have been 13. Ric Flair has more than 20 world titles, but they only recognize him for 16 in the WWE. I don't give a fuck. Ric Flair has more titles than Cena. And then when you consider, I was almost going to put a graphic on John's how many different championships across different promotions that John Cena won over AJ Styles. John Cena's only won in 3 different promotions to AJ Styles. I believe it was 9. AJ Styles won a WWE Championship, IWGP, NWA, TNA. He's won those championships. He's even won a Christian promotional championship. To be the best, you gotta beat the best. John Cena has, because of the booking and the politics and him getting in his way and Vince McMahon of being afraid of change. Thank God Samoa Joe is on Raw, the Samoan badass, as I'm calling him now. Some people say Joey Samoa. Go watch the Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle match. There was one cage match that had an MMA feel, which was weird to me. Mainly because Kurt Angle looked thin in that match, just for that moment. I watched a couple of his Samoa Joe Angle's matches. I was like, why? I think Samoa Joe should be one of the only few people I will I would consider encourage you to really think of inducting him to the WWE Hall of Fame. I said it's for WWE, Brock, Austin. That is it. Then the other three, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Sting. That is it. No John Cena, no Triple H, no Shawn Michaels, not even The Rock. Anyways, why do I still watch wrestling? For the good stuff. Not for John Cena. Because of John Cena, he killed the vibe for WrestleMania. He did. Hopefully it's not Cena versus Orton at WrestleMania. Hopefully it is what I'm hoping. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. We will see. But the passion and the vibe of WrestleMania 33 is gone. For now. Baseball. Yeah, let's talk about baseball for a moment. Edgar Martinez will have his number retired. And his number 11 will be up in the rafters. Or, I don't even say they call it the rafters. It's in the area. You know, you get my point. You get my point. At Safeco Field, you'll have a ceremony in August. Obviously, Edgar Martinez is only the second Seattle Mariner to get his jersey retired. Well, uniform. Retired. Ken Griffey Jr. 1 year ago. And then, obviously, with Jr. going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ken Griffey Jr. was inducted last year, representing the Seattle Mariners. Edgar Martinez had one of the highest votes to not get in this year. He's getting there. And the big question is, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. The problem is, and many people say, is the designated hitter position. The designated hitter position. That's the problem. And then when, obviously, you have another one coming soon in the name of Big Papi David Ortiz. Will he have a stronger chance? I would not be surprised if he does. The same probably some people say, I think the problem with that many people have with Edgar is obviously one, the designated spot. Two, he never won a World Series, which I think is honestly ludicrous. Look at Dan Marino. Never won a Super Bowl. Still considered one of the greatest of all time. Sometimes rings don't... If you are a great athlete, a great player that has accomplished a lot, rings are obviously rings are important, but if you prove something will be really good and hopefully not let the rings dictate your career, you earn your legacy. Look at the tight end spot. Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten in football. They have never made it to the Super Bowl. And Tony Gonzalez is probably going to be a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer. Antonio Gates probably maybe as well. Jason Witten probably too. Edgar Martinez more than certainly deserves to be in that spot. It's kind of like the debate in football. Do punters and kickers deserve to be in? I say if you made an impact on that position, you should be in the Hall of Fame. And I say Edgar Martinez, the way he kind of was like, I say, the Undertaker of the Seattle Mariners. He was there from the ups and downs, through and through, from 87 to 2004. He's seen it all. He has. He was a heck of a player. So hopefully Edgar does get into the Hall of Fame next year. And now, a little bit of local sports. Obviously, where I'm from, I am from in the Snohomish County, Everett, Seattle area. So obviously, there was this big game on Sunday in Seattle at the Alaska Airlines Arena. Sold out crowd for a women's basketball game, which is the number 7 ranked Washington Huskies and the number 10 Stanford Cardinal. Obviously, Washington has been on a roll with Chantel Olshanor and Kelsey Plum. Plum had 44 points in a 72-68 losing effort on Sunday. I'm telling you, I was on a Twitter rant, because speaking of John Cena, I was on a Twitter rant saying like Jeff Gordon, Roger Federer, Serena Williams, Muhammad Ali, AJ Styles. I even included Kelsey Plum as a legend. That's how bad I interpreted. I took that Cena loss. I said Cena was gonna win. Voice crack. Cena was gonna win. I also said Cena was gonna win, and I still get disappointed because I do not want to see Cena win. I don't. I really don't. He made AJ Styles look like a bad worker. Look how he executed the Styles moves. It was botched. It was not good. Anyways, Kelsey Plum is now third all-time in the scoring list. She's on her way trying to become the all-time NCAA women's basketball scorer in history. She will definitely be, I would not be surprised, highly considered as one of the top draft picks for the WNBA draft after the national championship season is over. But yeah, in my eye, it's probably in Northwest sports, she's getting up there as legends. Probably sure a Husky legend. And now, for the first time, and you think you know me, and I will do this every now and then, I'm going to roll the footage. I'm going to talk about movies, TV shows, or videos that I've watched that I care to talk about. The first edition of Roll the Footage is The Graduate, with, obviously, Anne Bancroft, Dustin Hoffman, and Catherine Ross. Here's how when I saw it a couple weeks ago, I said I personally not going to watch The Graduate until I graduate from college. It just makes sense to me. And I did. Obviously, you have Simon and Garfunkel providing the music. Essentially, it was only Mrs. Robinson, Sound of Silence, and Scarborough Fair. Here's a little bit tidbit. What I found oddly bizarre and funny, and it's kind of like, I do that every now and then when I do videos that is meant to be only watched by me, just to get a kick out of myself. Scarborough Fair was played 5 straight times for 5 different sequences, for 5 different moments. It's like saying when I did The Meaning of Purpose with Stefan Martina, I play Coming Down after somebody that Stefan cares for dies, or play Kings of Tomorrow's Finally at the end, or every time when he says San Diego. It's kind of like that. Honestly, Dustin Hoffman playing before Rain Man, there was The Graduate where Dustin had like reserve, didn't feel comfortable in certain moments, and didn't want to provoke drama or problems. Obviously, Dustin Hoffman had a lot of that in this movie, but obviously with Anne Bancroft, the MILF promiscuous. I don't know. I don't think they ever emphasize. Yeah. She would be considered a MILF in this case because the daughter, Catherine Ross portrayed the daughter. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, then, yeah, I don't know if your promiscuous was defined to trying to be like seductive. Obviously, that's where you got the "you're trying to seduce me" line. Mrs. Robinson. Yeah, her name is Mrs. Robinson, which is obviously what inspired the Simon and Garfunkel record, Mrs. Robinson. But then obviously she's trying to lure Hoffman to have, do the 69 and all that stuff. But he didn't feel comfortable, and ultimately he caved in. And then obviously people, his family, his friends, and relatives were telling him where he's been slacking off, where he's been, is he ever gonna find a job? This former track and field athlete is gonna waste his life away over over 40-year-old wife. Mrs. Robinson married with another guy, and then as time went by, then Hoffman fell in love with Mrs. Robinson's daughter near the end. So much in love that it pretty much tore the family apart. And then, obviously, Hoffman stalked Ross. Stalked her. I think it was Cal? I think it was Cal Berkeley. That Hoffman went to see her. And then there was one funny moment where, there was a gang of 7 or 8 men that came into the door just because Ross screamed like a crazy hyena at level 11, red level. The audio was extremely hot in terms of level, it peaked in the red. There was several moments of that which would kind of gripe me quite a bit as far as trying to keep audio clean, unless you're trying to ear rape my mind. I was listening through headsets at the movie, by the way. Yeah, it was a good movie when I saw it the first time. I will definitely probably see it again. It was one of the classic 60s films. And ultimately, Ross and Hoffman said, fuck the rules, we're out. And then they looked at each other like, what the hell have they done? And this was probably the lamest terms as well what the movie was about. Love, promiscuity, cheating. There was a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama. That's pretty much anything what the 60s was about. It kind of occurred in the movie. It screamed the 1960s. And also, now I remember where there was the one famous wedding scene where Hoffman was knocking at the window at the Ross's wedding with that what's his face guy that looked like somebody from the 60s. That was like the stereotypic frat douche at the 1960s. Slick, young, thin, pretty boy. Forget the name of Little Manhattan. I know why. Now I remember that Little Manhattan did parody The Graduate, based on that one wedding scene. So yeah, that's a quick review on The Graduate. And now for the weekly Celebrity Women's Crush Wednesday of the week. Again, I say Women's Crush Wednesday because to me WCW means World Championship Wrestling. With the Sports Illustrated swimsuit coming out soon, I decided who's gonna be in the next one, and I thought, without a doubt, in my eye, if there was one person that I would describe wifey material, Nina Agdal would be one of the many elements of a wifey material. What else could I say? Honestly, she's pretty much the down on earth, hanging with the boys kind of woman. It's obviously she has the looks, she brings beauty and attraction like many swimsuit models before and after her time, of course. There's something about her that is just why I find her attractive. It's probably those elements that I just mentioned. So yeah, Women's Crush Wednesday. Nina Agdal. See you then next week. I don't really talk much about celebrity crush. Let's just say like that, real quick. Because obviously, when you're trying to meet an hour limit, you gotta go quick. So here is who's number one.
Who's number one? Who's number one? Who's number one? Who's number one? So who's number one? Who's number one? Who's number one?
All right, who's number one? Where I will run down the top music songs in the Billboard Hot 100 and the top albums in the Billboard 200. So without further ado, here is the top 10 in the Billboard 200. And number one, it is still Starboy by The Weeknd. John Mayer climbs up, replacing the XX I See You from the number 2 spot. It is The Search for Everything, Wave 1. It's an EP album by the good old John friggin' Mayer. La La Land stays in the top 5 with the soundtrack now at number 3. 24K Magic by Bruno Mars is at number 4. Another new entrant in the Billboard 200 top 10 is AFI, the Blood album. AFI, great early 2000s artists. A good one, they're good. I wouldn't say great. They're good. I like their stuff, the stuff that I listen to. Then at number 6, Moana soundtrack. Number 7, Post Malone, Stoney climbing up the charts. Hamilton, an All-American musical, is at number 8. Views is still in the top 10 with 10. And then rounding out 10th, it is J. Cole's For Your Eyes Only. Now here's a little thing I done different for the Hot 100. The songs, the numbers that are in green means they went up the charts, and the ones that are in red, they went down. This could be a bumpy ride. Number 10, Scars to You Beautiful by Alisa Cara. Number 9, Fake Love by Drake. I bet that will be in the top of the charts soon. Starboy by The Weeknd featuring Daft Punk. Whoa, it goes down to number 8. Don't Wanna Know by Maroon 5 featuring Kendrick Lamar is at number 7. Black Beatles is down to number 6. I Don't Wanna Live Forever, same featuring Taylor Swift, is now in the top 5. Bad Things, which I mentioned, is an okay song. It's just not that great compared to a Machine Gun Kelly song that I will mention in a moment. Is at number 4. Number 3. This is the problem. This is my issue with this top 3. Is the same old shit. You have Closer going up again. It went up again. I mentioned it already. It is an Ellie Goulding knockout. It's just not that great of a song. It's overly played, overdone up the ass, essentially. Overplayed. It's overkill. As Motorhead would say. Number 2, Shape of You, Ed Sheeran and Badu Boucher. Get the fuck out of here. Number 1, let's go to the Godfather's playlist of the week to get my mind out of that hot garbage. Alright, the first one was Minor Turbulence from the Grand Theft Auto 5 scoring soundtrack. This song is completely contrastual to the other score music, where it's intense, amplified, dramatic. This one has a little bit dramatic, but in a softer way. And it's just like when I play that mission known as Minor Turbulence, it's like, wait a minute, this sounds completely different, and it paints the story beautifully. It's a beautifully well done song. The raw version, even the score was a little bit amplified up with more beats to it. But when you listen, when you find like there's a 15-minute version of it, which basically is kind of like the score that you would hear when you play the game itself and that mission in particular. It's a beautifully composed song. It really is. Then Motorhead Bomber, probably one of my favorite Motorhead songs from 1979. Fast intensity. What else can I say? I just like how it goes at that pace. Then 1995's The Bomb by the Bucketheads. Buckethead, yeah. I know who's a Buckethead. There's also a fuckboy named John Cena. Anyways, The Buckethead, The Bomb, which samples Street Player, I think it was Street Sounds or Street Player. I think it was Street Player by Chicago. And so you hear it from the Jock Jams record, and obviously if you listen to it, that's where Gaia Osho and I Know You Want Me by Pitbull came into fruition. Beautifully beat. I'm not the biggest Chicago fan per se, but Street Player is probably one of my favorite Chicago songs. I will definitely say that. Once in a Lifetime, a classic record by the Hall of Famers of Talking Heads from 1980. The music video, iconic in the early years of MTV. Great song. It's quite compelling how the lyrics are done in this one. Then probably the most underrated Dr. Dre beat of all time, Stranded on Death Row. You're not gonna find it on YouTube. So if you find it somewhere or you've been listening to the Granite, wherever you may have to buy the record essentially to listen to Stranded on Death Row now. Beast of a record, it's just beast. It's as simple as that. And then in lieu to the 50th anniversary of the debut album The Doors earlier in the month, End of the Night is probably one of the more dark, somberest Doors songs from that album. It's a completely different tone to say like a Light My Fire or Break On Through, even The End. It's right there with the Crystal Ship as far as taking a different shift in the tone of the record, which made it one of my all-time favorite albums. And then, probably one of the more underrated but very good Iron Maiden songs, The Trooper. Fast-paced, intensity, great riff. What else can I say? It's Iron Maiden. Then, a little more early 80s rap, local rap, Northwest rap as a matter of fact, Posse on Broadway. Is it dated? Mainly dated, but it's still a great record. And it comes to show you that Sir Mix-a-Lot actually had a good record not named Baby Got Back. Go listen to it. It's a completely different Sir Mix-a-Lot. And then, out of the indies, is Zach Hensey's Lost and Found from last year. And pretty much in the same essence of Minor Turbulence. It's how it was composed and how it's done. It's just beautiful. It turned out to be a beautiful masterpiece. It has to show you there are good music out there when you find it. Good music great music as far as these days can be lost, but you can find it in an instant. And then the last one, All We Have by Machine Gun Kelly. I know they used it at WrestleMania 29 for those who follow wrestling. The song is not that bad. It really is not. It's the same line with Lost and Found. There's something about a female vocal and a rapper collaborating that just works, and it did work. Alright, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. I know we're gonna pass an hour. Past an hour in this one happens when you talk about Cena for that long and try to put good and clean words together. Didn't work out, but that's okay. Anyways, here is the quote I will translation to the 3 points of the Godfather, which is by the legendary Paul Newman. Quote, regret is for pussies. Just don't deliberately hurt someone who doesn't seriously deserve it. End quote. Regret has been a word that many people think of like, man, why did I do this? Had I done this, And I went for that job. I had this, I had that. We all have regrets. We all have regrets in our lives. Sometimes regrets will get you nowhere. But you cannot take your frustrations. There's one thing, don't take your frustrations and anger for somebody who don't deserve it or had nothing to do with it. I've had a lot of those in my life. I had one in 2012. Looking back on it, some of the stuff were my fault. And I look back, it's like, why did I do this? Why did I scorn? Or why did I yell at that one person over one thing? One thing that it's like, what would it be, like a $10 part? Over a $10 part. If you regret it for so long, it's gonna hurt you, and it did hurt me. And I almost had a similar situation in the summer of 2015. Where I hurt the people around me and hurt myself because I regretted a lot of things. I had a regression that I don't have anymore. Because obviously, I also like the quote that Paul Thomas said. I don't want to have any regrets. Because if you have no regrets, you're going to feel good in the long run. And first and foremost, it's regret, no regret. Like that Punk in that We're the Millers movie. That Punk. Yeah, in the lamest terms of Punk. Anyway, summer 2015, I became basically unathletic and complacent because I did not get accepted to this one group. I had enough physically, mentally, and emotionally being in college. I did. I wanted to get out. I wanted to get out and transfer. And I did went to the application process to transfer to Houston, Texas. But as time went by, I let that one group rejection. Here's what went down. I got a phone call rejection and then letter rejection. Talk about a slap in the face, person. It really was a slap in the face. It's like, dude, one time is enough. You don't need to slap it in the face and rub it in saying, no, you did not get in in two different sources. It's ridiculous and just petty. It's petty, in my opinion. Anyways, it became anger. I took it out on my family. I took it out on myself and other people. I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. Will transferring to Houston be appropriate? Will it solve anything? So, it took a beautiful place. It took me some time to think about what I'm doing, what the hell am I thinking. And I said, you know, I'm going to wait till the end of the summer. Maybe after a place known as camp. As you see in the video right now. It's going to take, I said to myself, what is going to take me to not go to Houston? What is it going to take for me to solve any problems that I'm having, to avoid any form of regret in the long run? And then I realized I had to be myself. I had to think, it's my decision. I cannot let one thing that is out of my control dictate my life, dictate my career, dictate my outcome. And then I thought more realistically that all the reasons that I had going for Houston were wrong. I said to myself, I was probably not going to enjoy it there. I was escaping in unsolved problems. And then I was going to probably regret going there. So I decided, you know, I'm just going to stay in Idaho, finish where I left off, and say, I'm going to get it done. I may not like certain people that will come along the way. But it's not going to stop me for who I am, and I'm going to prove myself that I can get it done and solve any issues that I have. For the most part, I did. I did solve my issues. And I'm thankfully happy that I stayed through the course, and ultimately I graduated this past December, and as you see right now, my diploma came in on Monday. This is what I worked for. Blood, sweat, tears, dedication, hard work pays off. And I did it all at the University of Idaho. I did it all, but had it not been for leadership camp, had it not been for taking the time to relax and think about what the hell am I doing, what decision I'm going to go with, had it not been for those, I don't know where I would be. I really wouldn't know where I'd be. So I think for the most part, the stuff that I love get me to think realistically, what is the best decision for me? The best decision was to stay in Idaho instead of going to Houston. Anyways, my closing thoughts are, as much as we regret things, reflect on the changes that has impacted your life. Think about those. Number 2, always think of the pros and cons on critical decisions. Just think about it. And then the last one, I think is the most important thing, be authentic without one outcome ruining it for you. I almost let one outcome ruin it. And it made me a disgusting human being, to say the least. It really did. It made me a disgusting human being. And then junior year of college, it turned out to be the best year that I had in college, period. It was really good. I probably will talk about it maybe next week, I don't know. Alright, to close out this show, I'm going to give out a Hey Yo of the week. Without further ado, Scott Hall, take it away.
Hey yo!
Alright, and for me, the Hey Yo of the week goes to pretty much the entire Blitz team. Here's the thing about being a Blitz team member since 2013. There's a lot of people that don't like the Blitz team, but a lot of people do. Being a member since 2013, it made me understand wrestling a lot better. I understand the ins and outs more, and kind of made me grow as a knowledge as far as wrestling, who are good workers, who are not. And that's why when I talked about John Cena not being a good worker, there's a reason. Because the stuff that I see and that I learn from the team made me think about, okay, what constitutes a good match, what constitutes a bad match, is this a good match, is this a bad match? It's all the matter of taste and preferences. But obviously the Blitz team for life is probably one of the only people that I would listen, agreeing or disagreeing wise about professional wrestling, even in other sports, to build the knowledge and give you the stories that I need. So that is, there's no other group that I say that's more deserving than the Blitz team. The Blitz team for life, for sure. Great, they always do a good job. Bruce Blitz and the gang always do a phenomenal job on the reviews. And it gives me something to do on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesday nights. So I don't have to watch Raw or SmackDown to know what the hell is going on. Because I know the story they tell them, they talk about on the BlitzSportsNetwork.com reviews, is all I need. Simple as that. Alright, I know it went over an hour. Hopefully, next episode is less than an hour. We shall see. Next week I will talk about Super Bowl 51, and then I'll probably talk about a couple other things. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between. So, without further ado, make sure, as you see on the screen, my social medias, you can know me with the Godfather on Facebook, Luis_TNN Sports on Instagram, at the LT Files on Twitter, and then on my YouTube channels, Auto Rock and Racing 94, that you're watching this video right now, and TNN Sports 94, my backup. Hopefully you enjoy your first day of February. So, until we meet again, this has been You Think You Know Me with the Godfather, which takes place each Wednesdays on YouTube. As far as who I'm going to pick in the Super Bowl, I'm going to have to go with Atlanta. I think it's going to be a close game, but hey, it is New England. Alright, have a good rest of your week, everyone, and of course, keep it real, everyone.